Good afternoon, my name is Rosine, this is the Jazz Hot Baby and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would do something I have seen, I believe, Becca from Becca and the Books and Jade from JadeyRaeReads do. And that is, these books will self-destruct in 12 months. So basically, if I haven't read these books within the next year, that's it. I'm never going to actually read them. I need to get rid of them no matter where I got them from or why. That's it. The old books, obviously, when I've got them, I've wanted to read, and none of these are books that I've had for years and years and years, because I've said before in other videos that just doesn't happen. I either get to them and either love them or give up on them and put them straight to charity. Which is why I have such a massive charity pile of books to unhaul that mostly people don't want, because I just didn't want them either. I thought this would be a fun little video to do, so, here we go. The first book we have is one that I don't actually know all that much about, and that is Etiquette and Espionage by Gail Carriger. I tried reading her famous adult series. I can't remember what they're called, but I believe she has one particularly famous sort of steampunk paranormal romance series. And I couldn't get into that. But I know that this book is about a teenage girl who, because she isn't what her mum wants her to be, I think she prefers things like building clockwork, maybe running outside, things like that, then she does being a proper lady. So her mother decides to send her to this finishing school, only this finishing school isn't quite what either of them expected, in that it does teach her how to be a proper lady, but it also teaches her how to be a spy. Now, this was one I was curious about, but I just picked up in a charity shop. If I'm honest, I think I just grabbed it because I was like, oh, kind of interesting book. I should buy that. Even though I didn't need any more books. I just wanted another one to buy. And I've had this since, actually, I think I got this before the lockdown. So I have definitely had this for a good few months. And if I don't get to it within the next year, hell, if I don't get to this within the next few months, if I'm honest, I'm never going to. It looks alright, but I don't think it's something I'm going to be obsessed with. So though part of me still wants to give it a go, I think it's safe to say that if I've not read this within a year, it's definitely got to be unhauled. The next book is one that, if I'm honest, I know even less about, and that's kind of a problem. Because the reason I originally put this down was I couldn't really remember one of the main character's stories, so I thought I should go back and reread her story from the original trilogy. So I have now. And I'm still not sure I want to pick this up, because I haven't said what this book is, but it's Courting Darkness by Robin Lefevers. Now, it partially follows Sibella, who is a daughter of Saint Mortain, and therefore an assassin for the, essentially, nunnery, but she also works now closely with the, I can't remember what she wound up being at the sort of end of the third book, but she was a duchess. I think she might have married someone now, so she's something more important now. She might even be married to King France or something. I can't remember, that's the problem. I only reread the second book just because I didn't remember Sibella stuff, and when I started this one before, I remembered I did really like Sibella and Beast's relationship, but I also didn't care about the new main character in this, Guinevere, I think her name is, and her saving, or she also saves a guy from prison and helps him out, like Sibella did with Beast originally, and I just didn't care, which is a shame because I loved his Fair Assassin series, and I was so excited when I found out there were new books, and I just haven't been able to get into them, and it's such a shame because I did learn so much about old Brittany from the original three, and some of the, I loved these depictions of gods and things, but I just wasn't feeling it, and I'm not sure if I ever will be feeling this book. So, if I've not finally got my ass around to it in a year, then again, I'm never going to. So it has to go bye-bye, I'm afraid. The next book we have is one I got in a book box, and that is Burn by Patrick Ness. Now, each of these books gets worse and worse with how much I know, because about this book, I absolutely know nothing. I believe it's set in something at least similar to our world, if not completely our world, within the 20s, 30s, 40s, around that sort of time. And that the main character is a girl who a dragon comes to work on her farm. I think I've seen some of the people say there is a queer romance on the side in this. And that's about all I know. I've never read Patrick Ness before. None of his other books appeal to me. And the only reason I haven't already got rid of this book is I have heard such good things about it, so I do want to give it a go. But at the same time, something about it, I just, dragons or not, I just don't really care. It's not one I'm at all excited about or anything. I am still hoping I will read it and love it like everyone else does, but the idea of picking it up just isn't appealing to me right now, and I think that's going to continue on for the foreseeable future. So, book box book or not, signed or not, might have to go. We then have another book box book, and that is Storybound by Emily McKay. Now, this is a book I hadn't even heard of when I got with Book Cook Box, and it does look like it could be kind of fun. But the last book I read, where the main characters wound up in their favourite book world, I couldn't even get very far in because it was so bad. And that is essentially what this book is about. The main character is a girl who's had to move around a lot. One day when she steps into her favourite bookshop, she winds up walking out into the world of her favourite book, and she has to try and save her book boyfriend. Now, it could be really, really fun, which is why I'm kind of not sure how I feel about it. But at the same time, the whole getting stuck in another world thing can be kind of Like, maybe it's just because I've seen so many anime where it's just so overdone. I've not even watched most of them. I'm so tired of most isekai series. So, maybe just the idea of the sort of book it is I'm sort of tired of. But I think if I do read it, I will enjoy it. I think it is actually, with this one, it is just genuinely getting round to reading it. I think this is one I will actually read. But just in case I don't, if I haven't read it in a year, it's gone. And this is the last book, and it is the Scarlet Code by C.S. Quinn. Yes, I only got this recently, and yes, I requested it from Readers First. However, I still have to read the first book, and if I'm completely honest, that is the whole problem. I thought the preview of the second book sounded good, and it did, but within what I've read of the first book, I suddenly wasn't so sure it was for me anymore. And the thought of having to get through all that before getting to this one, it's kind of disappointing, but at the same time, it's from Readers First. I need to read this and review it and get points, because otherwise this was technically sent to me by a publisher. I shouldn't just be tossing it away. Well, I mean, to be fair, for this one, if anyone wants it for a trade, I'd probably take it, because if someone's more likely to review it for the publisher, then that's obviously more important. But it's just not... I'm not sure it's for me now I've actually requested it, which is such a shame, because it's the first book I got in such a long time from them, and I don't want to let them down and basically just not get any more books because I am useless. So this is one I really, really need to read, probably in a lot less than a year, probably within the next month or so. But whether that'll actually happen is a whole other story, because again, I need to read book one first. So yeah, don't read this, has to go. Doesn't matter if it was sent to me through Readers First. That's it. And that's basically it. If you loved any of those books, then please let me know if you have. If you've not even heard of them, and again, that's another, maybe I want to say maybe that's another reason to put it down, but at the same time, maybe it's another reason to actually read them, so I can then tell you about them and then make you want to read them. So I'm mixed either way, and that's just basically the whole problem with all of this. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed watching that. Please hold me to that. If in a year I still own them, if they're still in my TBR box and I've just not read them, just shout at me, please. I'll have to unhold them. Right. So, yep, thanks. Please remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment, and I will see you next time.